right, let's jump right in. Let's have a little bit of a recap of the albums that we've covered so far. Our list from bottom to top. Worst is Gene Simmons' solo album of the 4 solo albums released. That really is not a good album. Then we've got Hotter Than Hell, the second studio album in Kiss. Again, not a very good album. Rock and Roll Over, number 9, a fan favourite, but again, not a very good album. Number 8, Kiss, which is, I don't think it's a fan favourite. I think, classic songs on there, but again, not a great album. Love Gun, number 7, again, not a great album. Peter Criss's solo album, an undiscovered, underappreciated gem of an album that should be a lot higher, but it is not. Number 5, Trust to Kill, again, not a good album, but we're getting into sort of, I'd say, passable territory.
Passable.
Okay, so then at number 4 we have Dynasty. It's all right. Number 3, Destroyer. It's just okay. Paul's solo album, which is all right, and Ace's solo album, which is a flawed, I would say impressive listen.
Yeah, effort.
I think good effort, which is a good effort. That's number 1. But we're not going to talk about any of those today. Today we're going to be talking about Unmasked. Unmasked, which is the 8th studio album by Kiss, hot off the back of Dynasty. The little foray into disco. It wasn't really a foray into disco, but the fans still see it that way. And Unmasked. So, according to Gene, pretty much everyone involved when they started to work on Unmasked came to the agreement that Peter's chemical intake had gotten seriously out of hand at this point. The band had a chat with a returning producer on this album, Vinnie Pontier, who'd previously produced Unmasked, about Peter's issues. And according to Gene, Vinnie said, look, I don't want to use Peter on the album. I want to use Anton Fig. According to Gene, this played right into Ace's hands nicely, as it gave him a sense of control because Anton had previously played on Ace's solo album. Apparently, this became a yearly thing, where one year they tried to make Peter feel in control. The next year, they tried to make Ace feel more in control, to placate them so they wouldn't cause any problems. Like, isn't it easier just to say more straightforwardly, like, Peter's drumming was not good, Anton's was better?
Well, yeah, but there were clearly there were politics involved here. Clearly, I think they wanted to just get him out. I think they can say whatever they want about substance abuse, but it just feels like this has just been going on for the longest time.
It's been going on for a couple of albums, definitely up to this point. But the thing is, though, if they want him out, just get rid. They seem like it's in this really awkward, bizarre position that I've not heard a band really do before or since, where they're like, well, hang on, no, we need to kind of keep up the facade that he is in the band. But where's the end goal? Where's the end goal?
It's like a weird corporate environment where they don't have an HR department, so they're trying to find an excuse that they can put officially of why he's being let go, even though it's a million other reasons why he's being let go.
No, 100%. And at any point, did they ever say, let's break? Yeah. Let's break, take some time off. Peter, you go sort your shit out, and then come back. There is something that sort of happens to that effect later on, but it's never like, let's take a couple of months off. You go to rehab, sort yourself out, then come back. Not even questioned.
No.
It's just keep the fucking thing going, keep it going, and then just hope one day, get this law compared. They clearly fucking hate him. They hate him.
Well, that's what I was going to say. But I for a while I thought, it's because, they don't want to break up the band. They've been together for so long and stuff. But now that we've seen more interviews and stuff, it's like you say, it's clearly they don't like each other very much. Why didn't you just give him the axe?
Well, they play it off a little bit like, well, we wanted to keep the band together. We wanted the fans to be happy. We wanted to, we couldn't foresee it not being the four of us. Yet they've gone at every opportunity to make sure that just doesn't happen. Whether it's, their own faults, whether it's like Ace not showing up so they get another guitar player in or something like that, or his drumming not being great, just sort it out. Talk to each other. Anyway. Peter was invited in, however, during the recording sessions to add some harmonies on some selected tracks, which didn't work out either. That also didn't work. In this way, the harmonies they weren't used on the album. Not even the harmonies. Now that's got to be pretty low because he's a good singer, whatever you think of him. He is a good singer. I think there's got to be something personal going on there. But having said that, though, have you ever listened to obviously he's not in a fit state and there's a lot of bad blood towards him. But if you're gonna throw him a bit of a bone, you could argue that actually on other Kiss songs, have you ever been like, oh, Peter's harmonies there, they crush?
No, he's not that sort of vocalist. He's a lead vocalist. But I do still think he probably just got shafted on a personal level.
Yeah, absolutely shafted. They probably brought him there on purpose just to let him go. Yeah. Not really working that thing. There's some more peculiarities around the recording of this album. As with Dynasty, everyone is very much working exclusively on their own material. Now, I wanted to go into exactly who plays what on each song on this, but it's so convoluted and confusing that I couldn't write it down. Well, I mean, I just didn't have the energy. Couldn't put in the effort to write it all down. I have the Wikipedia page here, and if you really, really want to go into it, I can. But basically, it's a fucking mess. Yeah, it's an absolute fucking mess. It's like you can go on this and say oh, the bass on this sounds good. Props to Gene, but you don't know if it was Gene. Gene is just credited as bass, but then if you look into it, he actually didn't play bass on some of the tracks. There's another person that's credited. It's impossible to tell.
I had the same problem, especially with guitar solos. For me, it is such a mess finding out who played what guitar solo on this because there's multiple points even where Ace is playing and it says he's credited, but I'm like, and look, maybe I'm just impressed by Ace, but he's doing this stuff that is not his style of playing, and I don't know if it's him or whether it's someone else. What do you think, Alex?
Yeah, it's difficult. It was really difficult to tell just by listening. Usually you can go, oh, okay, that's an Ace sort of solo or that's a sort of Peter song. But this one, say, just from listening, it's convoluted. And when you kind of mentioned before, Alexei, about how Peter is credited but he's not on the album, I think it adds to it all, just what a mess it is.
Yeah, I mean, look, here's the thing. If I'm gonna run it down, Paul Stanley, vocals, rhythm guitar, lead guitar on Shandy, guitar solo on Is That You, and You All That I Want. First guitar solo on What Makes the World Go Round, all guitars on and bass on Tomorrow and Easy As It Seems. Gene Simmons, vocals, bass, rhythm guitar on You're All That I Want. Ace Frehley, vocals, lead guitar, acoustic guitar, guitar solo on Naked City, second guitar solo on What Makes the World Go Around, all guitars on bass and Talk to Me, Two Sides to the Coin, and Torpedo Girl. Peter Criss, drums, credited but does not play. It's a fucking mess. The only person who plays on every single track is Anton Fig, and he's not even in the band. It's ridiculous. It's absolutely the most convoluted, stupid shit. Anyway, all songs, except for Ace's, feature a co-writer. In particular, Vinnie Ponce. Vinnie Ponce co-wrote many of the songs on this. All of them, I think, actually, apart. And not unlike Destroyer, it appears we have someone else perhaps not steering the ship the way that Bob Ezrin did, but very much a creative partner within this process. What, if anything, do you think Vinnie brings to the record as a writer? What do you think, Danny?
Oh, that's hard because Paul's using him the most, it sounds like. But then Paul has always had a better ear for a catchy tune anyway. So, and also Paul, I don't believe he's probably, of all the members, the last one to be like, no, we've got to stay true to our rock and roll roots. I think, especially multiple times throughout this album, we hear him, very easily and happily leaning into the sellout pop style that they're going for, which that's not even necessarily a criticism throughout this album. So it's hard to know how much of that is, he is just refining Paul's new ideas, or how much of it is Paul saying, I don't know how to write this sort of song. Write this song for me. With the other members like Gene, well, there's not even that much to talk about with Gene on this album. And as you say, Ace's songs he wrote himself, and that shows so much here. Better and worse, I will say. There is there's one point, I'll get to it later, where two tracks next to each other sound so different from each other. They're like completely different bands. Alex, what do you think?
Yeah, I'm not sure how to take either. I definitely, I saw Gene criticize this album, saying that they listened to the producers this too much, which probably is targeted at Vinny, but maybe there's other people as well. And you can definitely tell with a few of these songs, there's someone's come to them and said this is popular right now, why don't you try this? There's definitely a more sort of late 70s pop feel to everything, or to most tracks.
Yeah,
there's
definitely
a bit of instrumentation as well, but they were experimenting with that stuff in the past few albums.
Yeah, there's definitely more pop, more hook orientated in my view, or at least trying to be more hook orientated in my view. And I don't know, I guess he kind of brings this almost like kitsch style to this, I think. Like Danny said, for better or worse, but we can get onto that in a bit. In terms of co-writers, contributors, and session musicians, there is one name, obviously credited, who does not play. And that is Peters. Due to his drug intake and subpar playing, a decision was made, finally, after all this time, all this turmoil, now. Because look, Kiss has a tour coming up. Kiss has the Unmasked tour coming up. The album is done. They have a tour coming up. They need a drummer. He isn't going to... He's not going to foot the bill. If that's how you use that expression. He's not going to foot the bill. So, I think that's what that means. I don't know. Anyway. So the decision finally gets made. We're going to fire Peter. But... hang on. Bill O'Coin, their manager, says, look, let's give Peter another chance. And Ace agrees. So they say, look, Peter, go have some time off to have some drum lessons. I'm not making this up. I'm not being serious. Yeah, I'm being serious. They said have some time off to get some drum lessons. Don't go to rehab. I know you've just been through a divorce recently. Go, learn how to paradiddle. And then we can come back. We'll see how things go. Now, what I'm about to tell you both has been corroborated by all members of the band and everyone that's involved. However, the context of why this happened or how this happened, there is a disagreement. So I'll just kind of run you through the situation. On the day of the rehearsal or the audition, whatever you want to call it, Peter's return from this time off where, he's been learning how to do drum rolls and how to paradiddle and stuff. Peter turned up with a music stand and sheet music. He said, I'm a changed man. I'm going to need all new music written out from now on because I read music now. According to Paul, Peter put the sheet music on the stand and studied it for a while, even though they were rehearsing old material. According to Gene, Peter's playing in the rehearsal was worse than ever. Paul has simply said, and this is a quote, it did not go well. To be a fly on the fucking wall. Yeah. To be a fly on the fucking wall.
That's a piss take, though, isn't it? Like that. Do you think he seriously meant that?
Well, here's Peter's take. So Peter says, it's true. he did bring a music stand. That is true. He did bring a music stand, and he did have sharp music written out. But he obviously couldn't read, and he said he couldn't read. But he said he was taking the piss. He said, I was taking the piss. I wanted to leave. He said, I wanted to leave, so I was just taking the piss. And if you want to leave, just leave. Just leave. There's this horrible dichotomy where, obviously they clearly don't want him in the band. And he just doesn't know how to leave. And look, it is shitty. Like, it is hard when you've been a part of something for so long that, you can't see your life without it and stuff like that. And it's hard to eventually, pull the trigger and let go. If I were to believe something, if I were to pick a side, I wasn't there, I don't know. But I would probably go for he was genuinely trying to impress them. And it didn't work.
Do you think it's also a case of, like, if Paul and Gene kick Peter out, then the fans could turn on them a little bit, being like, oh, why'd you do that? Like, you didn't need to do that. So they wanted Peter to, like, leave on his own accord so that that image isn't put onto them. You know what I mean? That stigma isn't put onto them.
That's basically what happened, because they said, oh, he's left, but they kicked him out. They said he left, but they did kick him out. Because for that exact reason, they were like, all right, we don't want to damage, maybe not our reputation, we don't want to hurt the fans and make out that we sort of turned on each other. We wanted to play it off like there's creative differences. He wanted to pursue a solo career, all of that. The next part is quite sad, to be honest. It's a bit sad.
Sorry, can I just say first, just because we don't know, we weren't there, I'm going to go Team Peter for the sake of conversation, because I think you can't trust Paul and Gene with anything. And I'm sure Peter was a mess, but I'm going to go ahead just and choose to believe that he was taking the piss, because it's his gravy train. So maybe he did just think, I'll ride this literally until the end. And it's too ridiculous. Bringing a fucking music stand.
The lack of self-awareness is astounding. The lack of self-awareness is absolutely astounding. I think, as well, you do make a good point where, like, he probably couldn't envision them going on without him. He'd sang the most famous song. He'd sang, like, the biggest hit that they had. Like, he did have quite a grandiose sense of self-worth. And the branding was so integral to the success of the band that he probably thought, they won't leave.
Sorry, get to the depressing part. I want to hear that.
I found it, when I read it, I found it quite sad. Anyway, they shot the video for Shandy after Peter had been told that he was out of the band. Paul says that at the end of the shoot, Peter collected his makeup case and left. It wasn't tearful, but it was a big moment. We had fired Peter. To him, in his drug-filled haze, he probably thought this was his big break. He wrote the big song, and now he was free to go on and do whatever he wanted. Wow, Peter's gone. It was the end of something, but the end of what? Peter tells this very, very differently. I don't know if you've watched the video for Shandy. So the video for Shandy, essentially is, it's not very good, but it's them in a dressing room, getting kind of made up and stuff like that. And the actual dressing room, well, that's part of the video. It's like the beginning of the video. But the dressing room, they doubled up as the actual dressing room. So the dressing room in the video is the dressing room they actually used to get in the costumes and stuff. Peter said that after the video shoot, everyone left the dressing room and it was him by himself. And he just burst into tears. Danny's laughing.
I'm not.
I thought that was really sad when I heard that.
It is sad. How long had the band been together
if that's
at this point?
true, that's heartbreaking.
A fucking long time, Alex. This is 8 albums in, and they were going for a good, 5 years before, over a decade. He was there for a good round up to about a decade.
It's just, who do you believe again? I'm going to side with Peter and believe his side of the story, in which case that's incredibly sad.
I'd be inclined to believe Peter as well, because I don't think Gene and Paul, they want to play off as we made a business decision. Yeah. He was not ready. Like Paul described it as a quote from him where he says, when someone's drowning,
you help them back up. Yeah. But if they pull you in with them, you let them go.
Can you imagine him being like,
and then we all left, and he just cried like a little baby. When a baby's crying, you gotta let them cry it out. You can't just go with them with the bottle every 5 minutes.
That's what he'd say.
He would say that.
He would. But I thought that was a very depressing end to a subpar career. Anyway, Peter is gone. And because of this, I would like to introduce a new segment to the podcast in honor of those who depart us on our journey through Kiss's discography. Said that really weird. Discography. So, Peter Criss is our first. Kish Casualty. Alex, maybe you could edit in some sort of like gunshot and someone kind of being screaming or someone on fire.
I was thinking like 10 salute bell
burning
sort
to
of
death.
thing. Like,
like that. 10 salute bell. That's good.
Thinking like old jazz music, like let's look over there, Chris. So if you could do all of that.
And I've put them all like at the same time, play them exactly at the same time, so it just sounds like noise. Anyway, so now Peter has left the band. I would like to open the floor to what do you think his highs and his lows are, and what is his lasting impact and legacy? We'll start with the highs. What do you guys? What would you guys say are his high points as a musician, as an artist? What are his strengths, Danny?
I think he's so far played a very important role in Kiss. It is weird to see him go because we have gone on and on in this podcast about how good his vocals are. That's obviously the main thing he brings. I'm not going to bring up drums.
I have to say something about the drums. I don't think I think drumming doesn't even enter the conversation when you talk about him at all. He's never going to go on a list of the best drummers. And also, drummers do not cite him as an influence. You never hear drummers going, maybe it's like, I saw Kiss, got me into wanting to play music.
Yeah,
never him as
like
a
the drummer being part of the show, in the sense of like wearing makeup and like, you know, doing like tricks on stage sort of thing. Maybe that in
exactly.
that sense.
Like he's not even the best drummer that they've had, that Kiss have had. He's the worst drummer that they've had. Anyway, Karen.
I like him as a personality too, and I know that's a ridiculous thing to say, but I think what it comes down to is, you know, Paul and Gene are insufferable for many reasons, but really it's primarily because they're fucking humorless, and they're just these miserable to cold business people. They spin it in different ways, but they take themselves so seriously, while Peter, for all his own style of ridiculousness and pomposity, and as you mentioned before, Alexei, inflated ego, especially after Beth. I think I like there being the crazy guy behind the kit who's off the streets and goes in front of the mic sometimes and has this incredible raspy voice. I think when we did the solo albums, I said we listened to them in order of who I think brings the most to the band, and we listened to him second under Paul, and I stand by that. I think his vocals are very, very important. What do you think, Alex?
Yeah, I agree with you in all of that. Like he has a charm about him. And Alexei, you might talk about it a bit, but in terms of highs, even though I wasn't into the album very much, I still have this admiration for him for doing that solo album the way that he did. It was a ballsy move.
It was.
To plant his flag down like that and being like, no, I'm going to do this classic R&B like throwback that wasn't popular at the time whatsoever. And like... you can tell for that he really cares about that, and that again, the music wasn't great, but he like that just shows that like he does have a love for this sort of stuff, and it's a real shame how it's panned out. Alexei.
Yeah, it is. Look, I mean, highs, Black Diamond in any way, shape or form is fucking brilliant. Like particularly. You go on YouTube, find most, if any, live video of him singing that, and he fucking is like off the chain. He really is brilliant. Again, his voice is the second strongest. I mean, it's really even hard to compare his to Paul's because his and Paul's do different things. The drumming, look, I mean, he's not. It really doesn't enter the conversation. The drumming just does not enter the conversation. But I think his biggest impact and his biggest legacy isn't necessarily the songs because, yeah, like, he sounds brilliant on a lot of their stuff, but a lot of the stuff really has not stood the test of time. Like Beth. Do you ever hear Beth played anywhere on the radio, even on like kind of smooth ballad radio station stuff like that? It's never played. It's not. A lot of their songs, they haven't really stood. They haven't really got staying power. But in that way, his biggest legacy and his biggest impact is just he was the cat. He was the cat man. He was the cat man in Kiss, and most people don't do that in a lifetime. And for that, that's pretty cool. That's pretty cool that he was able to do that with his life. And there, you know, like I said, there aren't people directly influenced by him, but there's people influenced by the band and his contributions to the band. You know, in that sense, he has got a pretty juicy legacy going for him. Would you guys like to hear a quick rundown of the events in his life after leaving Kiss? Okay. Not really. Sorry. Danny asked whether it was happy. It is not happy. Not really. Well, okay. Anyway, March 1980, Chris began recording his second solo album, Out of Control. After release later in the year, the album was a commercial failure, despite remaining a favorite with Chris fans. The follow-up, Let Me Rock You, released in 1982. Fucking hell. The covers for these are insane as well. The covers for these are really, really funny. Was a similar failure. This is quoted from his Wikipedia. This is how his Wikipedia page is written. Chris was involved with a number of bands, each usually lasting less than a year. One of them was The Keep, which featured ex-Kiss guitarist Mark St. John. Chris also played with Balls of Fire from the spring of 1986 to December 1986. Balls of Fire played only 7 shows before Chris left the band, reportedly to enjoy his daughter Jenna Lee, which is a fucking weird name, growing up. Another short-lived band was the Chris Penridge Alliance. This is exactly how it's written on his Wikipedia page. That didn't last long either. In 1991, a man... Sorry. It's really funny. In 1991, a man named Christopher Dickinson became... Can you read it? It's that last paragraph.
In 1991, a man named Christopher Dickinson began... I've heard about this. Began publicly impersonating Peter Criss. Dickinson did an interview as Chris with the tabloid Star magazine, in which he claimed that he was now a homeless alcoholic panhandling for change. Phil Donahue had both men on his show, where the real Chris confronted the imposter. I've seen this video. I fucking watched that.
So not an eventful couple of decades. Oh, it's so funny. Anyway,
in the interview, he's like, I don't know what's going on. He's like,
I've seen it, he grabs the guy by the leg. He looks nothing like him, by the way. Looks absolutely nothing like him. He grabs by the leg and he's like, it caused me a lot of trouble, big guy. Caused me a lot of trouble. I'm like, that's the most, I've read this, that is the most fame and the most interest anyone has had in you in like a decade. You should be thanking this man. It's the first time anyone's probably had you on TV for a fucking decade. Anyway, that's Peter. Back to the album. Unmasked gets released on in 1980. May 1980. And it peaks at number 35, which is the worst position since Hotter Than Hell.
Oh, no.
Ouch. However, it got to number 3 in Australia. It's a bit odd, isn't it? Yeah. Shandy was also a big hit in Australia as well. Yeah. It is met with negative reviews from critics. Fans generally see this as being their worst album. And I'll kind of, just so we're not splitting hairs. For example, Music for the Elder has a lot of vocal critics, but there are some people that really champion it. And think it's one of the actually kind of an undiscovered gem. No one seems to like this, including Gene, like you pointed out. He said he listened to producers too much, and he also said it's a shitty album. And he said he'd be ashamed to play it to his mother, or anyone else for that matter. Do you guys, just without giving too much away, do you agree that this is their worst or close to one of their worst? I'm going to say this right now. This is definitely not. I don't think it's definitely.
Absolutely not. This is not the worst. I haven't ranked it yet, but it's definitely not the worst.
100% not the worst. It's not even. I get it. Don't want to give too much away in the ranking. Not even bottom half for me. Not even bottom half. Alex.
Oh yeah, same. I haven't thought of the ranking in my head yet, but not the worst. Not the worst.
Not the worst. Not the worst at all. It doesn't. But I
think that. Why do they think it's the worst album?
I think one because it doesn't sound, because Kiss fans have no taste. Pop is Kiss fans have no taste, and I'm not saying it's amazing, but they like anemic, shitty, ploddy guitar sounds and talking about date rape, so they don't like this. Yeah. Also, I do think at the time as well, there's an argument they were just so oversaturated, the band. Way too oversaturated, fucking everywhere. Kiss, action figures, condoms, music parts, a film, an album every year. 4 solo albums, and then straight. Another album. And a big hit off that album. I think it's oversaturated, people getting fucking bored of them, and the novelty just wearing off.
Yeah, any coolness they had
That's probably true.
has gone by now, surely.
Absolutely. Anyway, I would like to talk about the album cover, which this is the first album cover by Kiss, maybe the first album cover in history. I've not heard of one since. That has a plot. It has a plot, and I have not heard of an album before or since that has a story, because what we're looking at here,
it's the original concept album, man.
It's a little comic strip. You could argue that based on this, that the album has a through line, that there is some sort of concept. It's more of a concept album than Destroyer is.
Well, to be fair, there are prog albums like Tarkus, like Thick as a Brick, but what they realised is you could fold things up and open it to expand on it. Kiss crammed it all onto the front.
yeah, that you nailed a criticism. But why isn't it in the gatefold? Why isn't it in the fucking gatefold? Doesn't make any sense. It's where you're supposed to look. You expect them to read this? There's fucking how many set on the font, because it's all crammed on. Well, actually, to be fair, back then on a vinyl, it would have been a lot bigger. It would have been a lot bigger on a vinyl. So there is an argument, but on a CD, no chance.
No way. You go ahead, Alexei.
No. I was going to say that you made one of my one of my big criticisms, which is, why isn't this in the gatefold? I think they should have used the frame, the second to last frame of all the members throwing their faces. If you're going to use an album, if I were to pick a cell from this, I would have picked that one, the second to last one. But anyway, this has a plot, and I don't know if you guys have read this comic, right? I have not. And I would like to read it and explain it as we go. Is that all right?
Yeah.
So I have to zoom in. Oh my god, the font is so blurry. So the first frame, we have Kiss outside of I can only imagine is I can only imagine it's a poorly attended arena show in Milwaukee, and
Alexei is leaning so far into his laptop right now to see what's on it.
God, the font is just tiny, a magnifying glass.
What's that on the left, by the way? On the first cell, on the left. Is that somebody?
What the fuck is that? It's like fucking analog horror. It is that? It's like a head sticking a tongue out. It's like a little Easter egg.
It's their fans.
Drummer.
Yeah, so we have anyway. So Kiss are just leaving an arena show, and we have a photographer who says, "When are you going to take off that makeup and let the public see what you really look like?" And then you have Paul saying, "Well, it doesn't actually. It's not the speech bubble. Isn't attributed to any of them, is it?" I don't think it is. It's kind of just hanging out there. It's in front of Paul, which isn't really our speech bubble, unless he's holding up a sign that says it. And it says, "This is what we look like, Curly." Next, we skip. And it says, as Paul tries to enjoy an evening with a friend. This is the second frame. Paul is sat drinking a martini with a purple woman. And in the corner, in the background, sort of coming out of Paul's head, is the photographer again. I assume trying to take a picture of Paul. This has jumped to me. This is like the sequence from Memento. There's no like linear through line. And Paul says, "Nice try, kid." He puts his hand over his face. On the next frame, we have Ace and Peter. It says Ace and Peter are intercepted on their way to a premiere. And we have the photographer again, the pesky photographer, who's wearing a different outfit this time, and a completely different outfit, actually, and isn't wearing a hat. And I believe it's Peter says from the back of a car, "Ace, get back in. It's that creepy reporter." And then the car zooms away, and we have the reporter saying, "Rats. Rats." Next, we have the reporter, who again, he looks completely different. He's different again. He's brown.
Or is it a different reporter?
What? No, because in that frame, he says, it's that creepy reporter again. So it's the same guy, but he just looks completely different. And he goes, "Hey, Gene." Gene is going into what I assume is like some sort of club. He's with a woman, and he turns round, and Gene has got a little red cloth over the bottom of his face. The photographer goes, "Can't I ever win?" Skim ahead. Kiss plays... What?
Song after
the
song.
grammar is... Oh, no, sorry. I just saw Kiss play song, and I was like, that's shocking grammar. There's like, Kiss plays song after song to the delight of the wildly cheering fans. Then, as they prepare to do the final encore, oh my God, there's such a space between
so wordy.
the N and the CORE in encore. The encore. And now familiar figure appears on stage. Right, first of all, there's loads of problems here. Peter is playing 3 bass drums.
Oh, yeah.
He's got 3 bass drums. That is fucking ludicrous. He can't even play 1 bass drum, let alone 3. And then someone, I think it's
Ace. Look, he's thinking.
Is it Ace? Oh, I didn't see that. Ace is thinking. He's looking off stage. And backstage, we have the reporter. And he says, it's that reporter again. And the reporter goes, "Kiss!" And the reporter says, "You say you always give the fans what they want." This is the reporter now talking to Ace privately. He says, "You say you always give the fans what you want. Well, let them see your faces." And then Ace goes, "That's right. Drop the camera and we'll do it." And Peter says,
This is the best.
Yeah, this is my favorite.
"Come on,
bit.
guys. Come on, guys. Get ready."
Come
And
on,
then-
guys. Ready?
Gasp! Gasp is written in big letters. I'm pretty sure it's not how you're supposed to... I don't know enough about comics, but that's not how you use that. You'd have that above the reporter. Because essentially we have this picture of all 4 members discarding a mask of their makeup, only to reveal underneath that mask is the makeup that's already there. And then we have gasp in big letters above their head. I swear that's not how you're supposed to use that.
You guys could see Alexei's face right now. It's the growing disappointment as he's reading through this.
Like, imagine, like, you're reading through this. What the fuck is this about? What's this meant to be? What, like, it's just rubbish. Also, Kiss don't wear masks.
No, but they're unmasked.
Yeah, but not really, though. You like on makeup. You know what I mean? It doesn't kind of like. I know that's probably being pedantic, but it doesn't. I don't know. It doesn't really. Just it's incorrect. Anyway, and then the last frame it says, and the crowd goes wild once more. Kiss are playing to a sold out arena, and we have the photographer wearing another different outfit. So far, he's had 4, maybe 5 outfit changes, and he looks to the camera. I guess the camera looks towards the reader, and he says, "I still think they stink." What a fucking waste of time that is.
So what do you think, Alexei?
I don't. It's just why? I just don't see the point. It's pretty boring, isn't it? Pretty boring. What's the point? What are you meant to latch onto? There's no plot. I know they had a very limited amount of space. A fucking album cover to put in much plot.
Think of it like this.
I mean, look how much writing there is in in this one. Kiss plays song after song after song. Like, in the frame where they're playing the gig, there's like 25 words in there.
It does read like state propaganda, that bit. Kiss plays song after song to the delight of the wildly cheering fans. It's like, Kiss, you always please the fans, right? Oh, yes, we do. It's just, this cover got so much worse when I paid attention. From a distance, I thought, oh, cool, a comic book thing. But when I read it, my God, that's all I have to say about it.
Yeah, no, I agree. On the surface, I was like, Kiss, comic book vibe. I can sort of get on board with that. And now you read it, you're just like, what a waste of time. Or at least make a fucking decent comic where they're like fighting aliens or something like that, and put it in the gatefold. Put it in the liner notes. This is meant to...
We've not looked at the liner notes of the gatefold. Maybe there is something.
The amount of ink that must have been used, the amount of colours that are on this. It must have cost fucking loads to produce. Loads to produce. It's mental. Then again, actually, I think probably a comic would have, in the gatefold, probably would have cost more, to be fair. But still, well, I don't get it. I don't know where you're supposed to look. I think that actually, despite all of that, and it is sort of a dumb idea, I think when you... The two things in principle, comic, Kiss, put together as an album cover, from afar as an aesthetic thing, rather than actually reading the comic, is all right. It's all right. It's okay. So it's not like I don't think it's like a bad cover. The comic, the story, the plot is shit. That is bad. That is really, really bad. However, it's as like a piece of art, as a picture, it's not the worst thing in the world. It's okay. But again, just a bit bamboozling. Alex, what do you think?
Yeah, I agree with what you said. Like from afar, I thought, oh, that's like a cool move, and it kind of fits them. But going into it, it's not good at all, and it's especially lame, because obviously this is some sort of get back at critics or reporters who are probably having a go at them at the time, probably for their terrible sales and poor music, and this is their way of being we're just being us, and you can't please those critics, right? After all that, they still think we stink. It's really lame. It's really, really lame.
Yeah,
and you guys say, they present themselves as we're just pleasing fans, and we're going on hot dates at the same time.
Yeah, I didn't think about it like that, actually. Yeah, that's a good point. Also, on another level, the colour choices, it's just so garish and fucking horrible. They really are. Everything's got this kind of waxy sheen to it. Do you know what I mean? Like they're made out of plastic or something like that. It's really it's really gross to look at. Why is everyone so shiny?
I guess it's the comic book style, but it's not. No, I agree. I don't like the artwork.
Yeah. No. I mean, are we done?
We're done.
It's humorless. It's what I said before. This is them not being able to make fun of themselves.
They
think
did
they're
this.
doing it here.
Sorry, I want to add.
What's that, Alex?
They did this for one of the music videos as well, the exact same plot. I can't remember which one it was. Was it Talk
Shandy.
to Me? Was it Shandy? Yeah.
Shandy. Yeah, but it's with a girl, I think, instead of
yeah, but at the end, they turn around. It's they're always wearing makeup.
Oh, that's so shit. Anyway,
Yeah,
let's talk about
the music. Track 1. Is That You? Now, this is a cover. This is a cover. Yeah, I didn't bother to listen to the original. I was thinking about this. They got quite an extensive cover history. They do a lot of covers. They go on the solo albums. It's a cover on each one. There's a cover on 3 of them. Paul doesn't have a cover, I don't think.
I don't remember.
I don't think he does. Kiss have a good record, I think, or a decent record. of having okay openers. Straight out, I Stole Your Love, I Was Made for Loving You. This is not one of them. What we have is kind of like just fucking bloody more rock and roll saloon fucking music. This is just boring. It's just boring. It feels like an album, a middle of the album filler track, I think. Also, the drumming does sound like he's trying to create, or at least, like he's trying to create the facade that it's Peter playing, because it's very simple, the drumming. It's very simple. It's very boring. There's one particular fill that goes out of the chorus, which is really sloppy. It does that thing that Peter does on Hotter Than Hell when you're not sure if he's going to land the fill. It kind of goes... Like, you're hanging on tender hooks to be like, come on, just make it on beat. Hit the one. I think Paul does an okay job on this. It's just what we kind of just have here is just a very kind of middle of the road, saloony, sort of junky, chunk, 50s rock and roll chucky shit. Like I said, I think Paul does a decent job, but I don't think he has much to work with. Gene reliably rocks up to destroy the track by doing backing vocals, which I thought we were done with. I thought we were done with that because we didn't have it on Dynasty. We did not have it on Dynasty. We didn't have it on I don't think Love Gun. But I might be conflating it because we did the solo albums and he didn't appear on 3 of them. So I might be thinking that I haven't heard that in a while, but we definitely didn't hear it on Dynasty, I'm pretty sure. And that has not benefited the track at all, having him do backing vocals as usual. One positive, it does sound better and more polished than a lot of other stuff production-wise. But in that sense, but only in the sense that it's more polished and cleaner than other Kiss records. But I will take that. Than attempts at raw, aggressive, heavy sound, which they just fail at. They just sound pasty and anemic when they do this. Not a good opener. I'm not a fan. Danny, what do you think?
Similar overall feeling. I think actually not agreeing on some of the specifics. I quite like that insane drum fill. If we're talking about the same one at the end of the like it's near the last bridge. Is it around there?
Nah, the one I'm talking about comes out of the first chorus. It's the one that comes out of the chorus going back into the verse.
Oh, we're talking about different ones. Okay. As in what I put is I was laughing that I quite liked the drums. You're right, they're very simple, but the mix and the performance is better and it's not Peter, which yeah. Overall I just straight away was thinking, come on, Paul, why are you doing that? He's doing that silly fucking voice thing again. Towards the end, he does some nice things in the chorus. Like it's Paul, whether he's good or bad, he's still the best singer there. I thought it's an interesting song in that it sounds newer and older at the same time. I think that's to do with the better production, but they're still doing this old fucking style.
It's a bit like Achy Breaky Heart by Billy Ray Cyrus, isn't it? It's exactly that same vibe. It's kind of old, but new. You know what I mean? This is kind of like rock and roll for the 80s.
Yeah. I actually like the bridge. I don't like much of the rest of the song, especially the verse. The whole song is cheesy even for him.
Yeah.
Not necessarily a bad thing, but it is kind of a bad thing. I like on the last bridge where it breaks down and all the instruments go out. I think that's a good melody, that bit. That works. But the chorus just might have a charm, but I don't think so. I also thought, is this our first swear word from Kiss?
I believe
I was going to mention that. I was going to mention it. We get bitch.
Bitch!
It does say that, which I was amazed by. Nothingy, old-timey guitar solo. And he's still, the worst thing about this song for me is he's still doing the adversarial woman thing that they've been doing since the first track on their first album, and they're still on it. So, not much for me on this track. I like the bridge. Alex?
Yeah, you pretty much took what I was going to say. This is very familiar territory, including the sort of just dissing a woman for having too much sex, despite them flaunting how much sex.
Despite what's it
like?
Yeah, the fucking double standard is insane.
Yeah. Yeah, I was talking about, we get a bitch, which, I mean, for them to swear on an album for the first time, it's not a great use of it. It wasn't like a hard moment or like, they really, so it just kind of like slipped in there. So quite interesting. Like I say, we've heard all of this before from them. I'm going to disagree that I don't like the breakdown because I think that breakdown all the instrument drops just shows how it shows how weak the song is and the hook is. Like, it's not, for me, the hook isn't good enough. And the whole song
feels very out of place, that bit. A bit rubbish. Shandy, track 2. This is another Paul song. So you know what? It's nice to have 2 Pauls in a row.
Yeah.
This was a big hit in Australia. Big hit, like a legit hit. Anyway,
God knows why.
Alex, what do you think of Shandy? This is quite shat on by a lot of the fans. Fans don't really take this one much, as you can probably tell why. Because what we have here is very much a kind of like sickly, kind of disco-y ballad throwback sort of a vibe. The fans did not. Whereas I Was Made for Loving You has, still a lot of rock elements still in there.
Mm-hmm.
This kind of is completely absent from that. Alex, what did you think of this little number?
Yeah, well, I knew this one was kind of shat on, and honestly, that doesn't bother me because I feel as though so far the tracks that have been like really disliked by Kiss fans, I'm kind of into because this usually has a bit more of like a pop sentiment, or like they're trying something different, or it's like a more flamboyant song. With this one, however,
the rule of thumb is whatever the Kiss fans like, other than like maybe Love Gun, you just go in the opposite direction. But yeah, sorry, Karen.
But for this one, I mean, it is incredibly lame. Like that's just the thing I take from it. Like it's just so, I don't know. It's like, this is sort of like the jingly acoustic guitars, with that like lead over it. To me, it doesn't work.
Lame is definitely the right.
Yeah.
The right word. I think we all wrote lame. I wrote lame and sickly in my. But I mean, lame. But there's a lot of lame songs that are still quite good, but they are lame. This is
but this one's
coolest song. But is it?
Yeah, some particularly. Well, I don't think so because I'm not quite sure why this one was a hit because I don't like any of the hooks in this song, and they try a lot. Like, it's a very wordy song. And there's a lot going on that Paul's singing about, but none of them seem to land, except maybe just the one, Shandy. Like, that's the only bit I remember. But there's a lot going on in this song, but it really doesn't stick with you, and it doesn't flow well together. Like, to me, I think this song's kind of a mess. I think it gets okay towards the end. It sort of finds its place when it's like signing off. But the verses, of course, it doesn't work for me. What do you guys think, Alexei?
I think it sounds like it should be used in like a sad moment in Greece or something like that, where like
was there a film tie or a
is
TV
like
tie?
singing to the moon or something like that? No, I don't think so. I'm not sure. Danny, what did you think of it?
It opens with some very pitch-tuned ass drums. It's like very Rickroll sounding. I instantly thought, excuse me? Like, what is this? Because I actually quite like the guitar intro. That's probably my favorite part.
Yeah, I like the guitar intro as well.
I do.
Yeah. 2 Paul songs in a row is welcome. I instantly thought that. I think I said this earlier. I wrote in my notes, he has just embraced the selling out pop song move that the band is going for. I think, as we said before, that's a double-edged sword that goes 2 ways.
In general, when they do adopt new sounds or do different things, Paul definitely gets the memo better than Gene does, 100%. Like, he gets the USB and gets like, okay, what are we trying to do with this record? He gets it like way more than Gene does. Like, there are some songs on this, particularly one coming up, where if the goal was like, oh, you got to make something really commercial and poppy, I'm like, Gene, this is like the heaviest thing you've ever written. What the hell are you doing? Like, it just doesn't get it.
That's true.
Actually, I have a question for you guys. Sorry, Danny. But like, since this is, this is a soft rock song from him, like proper soft rock, would have this been better for Peter to sing? It just come to my head now.
Whoa,
dude, no, that I've got that in my notes. I was gonna get to that. I was like, completely wrong singer. If Peter had sung this, I think it would have been 1,000 times better. I genuinely think it would have been really good because he does have that rasp and that personality and that kind of innocence to make it work. I feel like Paul's is just because he sings it like a lot higher. It's way too squeaky clean. He sings it kind of more like I'm trying to think of the way to describe it. Just a lot more twee and pristine is what he's going for. Whereas I think Peter would sing it with edge is the wrong word. A little bit more soul, a lot more soul, and a lot less sickly energy.
I didn't think of that. You two got that. I can hear that now. Like, that would be much better. It's not my sort of thing. I don't really like this sort of music. So, but similarly to the other slower stuff they've done, I don't think it's done badly, and I don't think it's done worse than the contemporaries at the time necessarily. This has another nice drum fill in it. There's a really long drum fill that Peter certainly couldn't have done. I was two-minded on this song because it's really not that bad. I think I'll even be a bit nicer than you, Alex. I think it's got some tunes in there, but like it's even quite catchy. But it's really lame and it's not. I don't like it very much, Alexei.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. It's incredibly lame, but I will say I do think it's well crafted. I think the pre-chorus does a nice ascending vocal build. A nice melody that releases quite well into the chorus, the big like Shandy, and I do think that works quite well. And I also think that hook is okay, but again, I completely agree with Alex. I think that Peter definitely should have sung it, and it's just really, really fucking lame. I mean, when people, again, we always talk about the complete disconnect between the image and the music. And obviously, I mean, this is one of those times where we'll say, yeah, they completely fucking missed the boat in that regard. This is really, I mean, I know like people go like, oh, such a huge departure for them to do something like I Was Made for Loving You. And I'm like, is that Made for Loving You? That? No, I mean, compared to this sounds like, Detroit, I Was Made for Loving You sounds like Detroit Roxy compared to this. This is really going, out of one. I know you could argue the same for Beth and Great Expectations and stuff like that, but
theatrical. And this really is. I'll even throw the insufferable fans, a bone on this one. This is different to what they've done in the past.
I mean, there's attempts at like in Destroyer being kind of like artsy and stuff like that, and you could sort of pull that off, particularly with the kind of Alice Cooper, being akin to Alice Cooper. But this is just really, really twee. Brotherhood of Manny, and also again kind of dated. Do you know what I mean? It kind of sounds like a novelty song from like the 70s, like the mid 70s. Something you'd see on on BBC 4, do reruns of Top of the Pops from the 70s and stuff like that. Like this would happily fit on there. But again, it's not terrible. It's all right. I thought it's quite well crafted. Next one, Talk to Me. This is Ace. This is Ace's first on the album. Out of curiosity, was this the one that you thought was like night and day from the previous?
Yes. It sounds so different.
Yeah, no, I agree. Talk to Me, Ace. Has a nice kind of AC/DC intro. Nadia my partner, was listening to this. It was on whilst it was playing, and she said it sounded like a heavy version of the Beach Boys, which I think is kind of accurate-ish. Yeah, I mean, it's true. This to me sounds like, this whole song sounds like it should be the intro to a daytime kind of drama comedy in the 80s about a therapist or a therapy clinic, particularly I just want to talk to you, and that bit you'd have them all like folding their arms or something like that. I wish the bass. This is my biggest gripe with this song, and I'm really curious to see if the only person that speaks on. Can the bass make up its fucking mind what it is doing? Right? Because in the verse, everything is like chugging and driving, and the bass is trying to accent the most random notes ever. It goes bump, boom, bum, 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 bum. Like, and it just sounds annoying. Like, commit to grooving or just accent better. Make up your fucking mind. Like, because at the moment, whoever is playing it just sounds kind of like they've lost their place in the song. Do you know what I mean? Like, they're kind of in the groove, like, bum, bum. Oh, wait, I've got to do an E there. Hang on. Bum, 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 bum. Oh, there we go. Oh, wait, does it go to the... Where does it go after that? Does it go to the F? F sharp? It just... It doesn't work. It does not fly. Having said that, you know, it's a power pop tinged mid-tempo rock song. I do think Ace's kind of idiosyncratic, very human vocals do give it a sort of naive, sweet quality that does lift it up. Like, you know, there's an innocence to it that does kind of galvanize the bog standard power pop and rock instrumentation and lift it, and does give it more of an identity. Yeah, it's not bad. It's all right, this one. It's all right. It's quite sweet. I don't know. Yeah. What do you think, though?
It started, and straight away I thought, this sounds like Ace, and I was right. And again, like I said before, this is so different to the last song, and that was making me laugh. It just sounds like... Well, you covered it in the intro, actually, Alexei. Just that there was no, like... It sounds like discussions between band members about direction or anything. This is just people showing up with what they have.
Yeah, they're on their own little bubbles. But you know what's good to say? I mean, yeah, this is more of a poppy Ace song, but he hasn't really moved much.
No, not much at all. Instantly I thought, oh, his vocals are better than on Dynasty. I like this sounding Ace myself. That's my style of Ace.
Sorry, can I make a point? Back to that thing about we were saying that Gene did not get the memo at all, or Paul gets it better. Well, actually, Ace got the memo. Actually, I would argue maybe better than Gene did, because at least his songs have hooks. Every song on this, at least, is attempting to do a hook. Gene's, even though I do... Two of Gene's songs are completely hookless on this, and are actually, in that regard, pretty impenetrable. Like, but his crop of songs on this, Ace's crop of songs on this, definitely have more of a pop sensibility to them, at least more than Gene's does. Having said that, though, that core Ace sound, he's kind of nudged it a bit towards where I'm going to try to do something more commercial sounding, but it's still very much Ace.
Absolutely. They're good songs, Ace's, but for the most part, we'll get to the other ones later. I started laughing. I just thought, I like this. Like, it's nothing, really. There's so little to it. But I was enjoying it. I think you said naive vocals, Alexei. I didn't write that, but that's very true. There's something a bit Lou Reedy or Jonathan Richmond-y about his vocals.
Dude, I was going to say Jonathan Richmond, but I thought you'd both make fun of me, so I didn't. But I do think it's quite Jonathan Richmond-y. I generally do.
It's the naivety. It's the kind of just, he says, talk to me, talk to me.
Or like Reckless Eric or someone like that. 100%, yeah.
Yeah, so I love all that stuff. So I thought that was great. I thought something about the production works in an of its time sort of way. It was probably even dated back then. I thought the guitar solo was good. He really pulls it out for his own song.
Yeah.
And it makes me feel a bit bad at music analysis, this one, because I just like it. It works for me, this one. Alex, help me out.
I agree with you guys in the sense that it's a very sweet song, and it actually like pulled me back, sort of like how sweet it was. Like I noted down some of the lyrics here. All I want to do is talk to you and maybe go out and form some kind of relation. I mean, that is just so
sweet. He's not talking about minge. He's not talking about minge. He's just like, I just want to talk to you. Can I just talk to you for it? It's nice. It may be a bit leery. I just want to talk to you. I just want to talk. But I agree with you. It's sweet.
Yeah, it's very sweet. I wrote at first the teenage dirtbag feels. Like, I don't know why that's like the sort of thing I got for it. Like, just kind of a nerdy guy singing about a girl he likes.
I have also referenced Teenage Dirtbag, but not for this song, for a song that's later on.
I think this song is sweet. I don't think it's great, and I think there's not much energy in his delivery, which is fine for a bit, but this is quite a long song, and towards the end, I'm a bit done with hearing Ace tell me he wants to talk to me. Honestly, it's a bit of a tired hook towards the end. So I didn't mind it, but and would like a bit more. Great solo though. I'll agree with you on that, Danny. I think it's pretty badass solo that he pulls out. That's all I gotta say. Oh, poor Ace.
No, I dig it. The next song is called Naked City. This is Gene's first on the album. So basically, I would like to go first on this one because I think we're going to disagree. When I saw this coming up, I thought, oh, fucking hell, it's Gene's song. And then it came on with that do-do-do, do-do-do-do. And I was like, oh my God, has Gene written a good riff? Has he written a good riff? And it's like, do-do-do, do-do-do. And I was like, this is kind of banging. Don't get me wrong. The turnaround at the end of the riff bottles it completely. The turnaround, I was like, fuck's sake. But the main meat of the riff, it goes pretty hard, and it's nice, and it comes in hard as well with the descending like, it's nice. Also, the way that he uses that descending line again is a big entrance into the chorus, which is nice. It sounds like a Paul riff. It's very minor. It's heavy. The guitar solo goes in fucking hard. Again, I haven't got a clue who fucking plays it. It could be anyone. I have no idea. But it goes fucking hard. And even my partner, she was sat next to me and I was listening to it, said, "It's all right." Whoa. Which is a lot because she fucking hates Kiss because I keep listening to them. Originally, I was going to say, oh, he's finally written a good song, but I did like Watching You. However, the production on Watching You was complete dog shit from part of it. Now, Danny's pulling a face at that song that's like, everybody else is here watching you. He doesn't remember. But at least, this remedies that to a certain way. And I mean, 8 albums in, even a broken clock tells the right time twice a day. He's going to come out with something good at some point. And I think this is all right. I think the verses sound like The Police, but I will take that. I mean, nowhere near as rhythmically interesting as The Police, don't get me wrong. But I will take that over fucking Love 'Em and Leave 'Em any day. Also, he's not trying to sound sexy like he has on other Kiss albums, and he's not trying to sound pompous like he does on his solo album. He's just singing about from what I can tell, ostensibly nothing, but serious nothing, and I will take that. To talk seriously about nothing, then talk about fucking Minge, or, how, music can change the world, or whatever his fucking solo album was about. Whatever the fuck. I mean, it was hippy dippy bollocks he was going into on his solo album. I actually really like this one, and I think if I can remember correctly, he does develop for the better as a songwriter in general on subsequent albums, but that's only if memory serves. I think he developed on the promise he showed on Dynasty when he was making songs that, at least me and Alex were saying, this is an improvement over what he's done in the past. But I genuinely like it. I think it's a good song. I think it's a great riff. I think it goes in hard. I think he sings it actually quite well. And yeah, good Gene. Keep it up. He does not keep it up for the rest of this album. But it's all right. It's good. Alex, what do you think?
Oh man, so we get we know Gene is a big Beatles fan here, and here we get poor man's Eleanor Rigby with this freaking
the lonely bit,
deep, hand-fisted quote unquote deep writing. Yeah.
I was wondering whether that was the lonely people. I was wondering if that. I was thinking Eleanor Rigby. Sorry, Karen.
Yeah, But Alexei, I have to agree with you. I think this is the best Gene song we have had so far. And actually, I'm not sure it's even close. This was on first listen. I thought this is pretty good. And on repeats, I didn't get tired of it. Like, it is ham-fisted, and the verse kind of loses its way, especially when he goes into that like falsetto stuff, which we're hearing more and more from him.
Is that him that did it?
I think it is. We hear him a few times now, I think.
Because I didn't sound. I did not sound like him.
I think this whole song is high register for Gene. I put that, so he is. There's something.
Yeah, the verse is definitely. Actually, to be honest with you, I prefer it when he sings in a higher register. This fucking shit that he does.
I agree with that.
But yeah, the important thing is that he sounds good in the chorus, and the chorus works. Like, like it is. It might be a bit sort of like bollocks what he's talking about, but the hook works. I think, and the intro riff, like I say, is really cool, and then once it gets into the verse, it goes bang, gang, gang, gang. I'm not into that so much, but this one, I'm giving it not even a tentative thumbs up. This one is a thumbs up from me. Danny, you too, right?
I'm saying that I'm a foot going. I'm a foot going. I will probably take this one moving forward. I actually quite liked it quite a lot.
This is the Peter thing again, where I wrote lots of good things, but y'all have got to make me right. Y'all got to make me be the bad guy here.
No, just say it.
Sorry, you got a question. Would Peter have sung this quite well as well? I think.
Oh, that's true. Sing it better than Gene. Anyway, what did I write? I thought, good intro, especially for Gene. I was like, wow, Gene, not bad. That's a riff. That's a good riff. Then it's straight away, I thought, turn the fucking bass down, Gene.
Yeah, I wrote that the bass is too loud.
Really loud on this. Yeah. I was... Yeah, okay, credit where it's due. I was impressed by how high register it is. That does sound like him singing. That's great. Why does he not do that more? I thought... I wrote the same things as you guys. I put this is probably the best we've had from Gene. Probably the best. I did start laughing at that on subsequent listens. That this is the best we have. Naked City. I thought the chorus has a good chord structure. It works. Similar thing to Sweet Pain, where I'm like, well, he's got a chorus down there. Good 80s ass solo. I read Ace played this, and I don't know, man. If he played that, that's really good for Ace.
Yeah, I agree. It's really, really shreddy.
Yeah, it's really and forward thinking. That's going into the 80s there.
Also, I like it a lot. They actually, you know what? To give them their credit, Kiss, they do good middle eights and breakdowns and stuff like that. I think usually if I'm going to give them a compliment on a shitty song, I'll be like, oh, middle eight's all right, the breakdown's all right. Or like when it goes halftime and the chorus busts in, that's really strong.
Yeah. I did write, what is this about? The lyrics are just ridiculous.
Yeah, but again, it's the thing where it's like, well, you don't listen to Leonard Cohen for riffs. You know what I mean? You have to give up on the lyrics with them. Having said that, there's one song on this album where I actually do quite like the lyrics. It's not this one. This song, I haven't got a fucking clue what this is about.
It's a bit like, because you compared it to Paul, which I agree with Alexei. Like he's trying to write a Paul song. It's like a Gene version of The Magic Touch from the last album. In that, like I was just thinking now, this actually clashes so much with the last song. And this is its main problem. It just takes itself so seriously, this song. It's so over the top. It's like, what is he talking about? What is he passionate about here? What's he talking about? It's that power metal problem where you're talking about something big, but it's just too nebulous to even have any meaning at all. I guess you guys generally have it right, but it's probably the best Gene song. I'll agree with you guys there. It's the best Gene song, but still not great.
Right. What makes the world go round, Paul? This is the funniest Kiss song, I think, by a country mile. I think the song is fucking hilarious. I think the song is really funny. Right, so it starts with this, like, almost like Motown, like Billy Ocean, like, you know, kind of jaunty, like, something about, oh, I met this girl and I really love her. I love to be with her. Oh, God, she's so great. It's brilliant. And then the fucking chorus comes in. And then I found out, really found. I was like, wait, what? What's happened? The chorus comes out of nowhere and it's a completely different vibe. Absolutely completely different vibe. And you're like, wait, what's this about? What's the vibe? What's supposed to be? You're like fucking Wilson Pickett a second ago. And it's like, then I found out what made the world go round. What? Like, he got two ideas for two completely different songs. Having said that, though, he somehow manages to bridge them together pretty well. Like, the chorus sounds like it should be like chase scene music in Magnum P.I. Like, and I like it started and it ended, and at the end I just went, what was that? What's that meant to be? What's going on? Like, having said that though, the chorus goes hard as fuck. The chorus goes in so hard. Like, I think it's really confused, obviously really thrown together, but I just thought it was fucking hilarious, and I liked it. I liked it very, very, very much. Danny, what did you think?
I'm gonna skip to the end of my notes. This is one of the best Kiss songs yet. This is better than Detroit Rock City.
Can you elaborate a bit more, please?
Okay. I mean, first of all, I just love Paul's vocals. He brings me right back into enjoying Kiss every time it happens. After Gene's best attempt, I was so happy to have Paul back. I could imagine rocking out to the new decade to this song. We're in the 80s. This slaps. The chorus is really good. Change the production, and that is a Girls Aloud song. That is a Girls Aloud chorus. What makes the world go round? Then I found out, really found out.
Yeah, I think you're right, actually. Do you know, I think that just thematically, what is this song about, Danny?
Alexei, it's about what makes the world go round.
He's talking about this woman that, like, he's like, oh yeah, I'm in love with her, and then she's clearly wronged him in seconds. Either that, or he's got like borderline personality disorder and just can flip on a switch like that. It'll be like, oh, maybe, do you want to watch Love on the Spectrum tonight? Nah, I'm kind of getting a bit bored of Love on the Spectrum. I found out, then I found out what makes the world go round. It's like, jeez, have some resilience. Or like he's all the way up here, like, you know what I mean? And then it's like, oh no, things got sour really fast.
I just think you guys can correct me. I don't think they have a chorus as good as this yet. I think this is the best chorus they've had yet. Yeah, you pulled a face and now you can't say anything. What's the chorus that's better than this? Makes the world go round.
Me and Danny are like wrestling for the mic. I think you got a good point. It's one of the catchiest. Yeah. For sure. Like, it's an earworm. Like, I stand this again. No, I think this goes hard. I mean, the chorus goes hard as fuck on this. I just think it's incredibly silly. The song is really fucking silly.
The Kiss is silly. It's got a good riffy solo that goes on a bit longer, and he does some lovely chromaticism sort of sequency thing at the end. God knows if it's ace. It's just nice to hear, the guitar solos with good drums behind them. I was head bopping. I was really rocking out to it on subsequent listens. I just think I'll have to look at the other ones I wrote down as my favorite Kiss songs, but this is really up there for me, and I think that's funny.
Yeah, no, it's funny. No, it's a banger. It's a jam. I'd say, like, I don't know if you agree with me, but I would say that I think he should have gone more ape shit at the end.
I'll agree with that. Yeah, there's room for that.
Yeah. During the outro, there's so much room for you to be like, and I found out what makes the world go round. Yeah, like proper go in for it. Like, I don't think he goes in for the kill enough for that, but I do think that they use the chorus the completely right amount of times. They use the chorus at the perfect amount of times. Do you know what I mean? They don't rinse it too much. But it is a jam. It's like game show music, like really, really intense game show music. Alex, what did you think?
I am so glad that you guys found this song as fascinating as I did. My God. On first listen, it was just like, what is going on?
Where's that come from? What's that about? What do you mean? What changed? What changed?
I will say,
it's
though.
like it's got the same. It's like the comic. It's like there's frames missing that would link the scenes together. It's like, what happened between the verse, the events of the verse, and the events of the chorus?
Well, I will say, though, that you guys are seeing it much more as a positive, that chorus, than I am. Because I think the verses are great here. Like, so on the first listen,
I agree.
I was kind of into Naked City, and I was like, can I lean into it? I was like, oh wow, that was so different from Gene. So I was like really focused on the next track. And next track, we get this sort of like very, early 80s Wham sort of like style, like guitar riff. Right?
I was going to say Wham, Wake Me Up Before You Go, totally Wham, totally Billy Ocean. It sounds like Love Really Hurts Without You by Billy Ocean.
Yeah, and as soon as Paul's vocals hit, I'm like, oh my God, like this is like pop. Like the pop girly inside me like had a huge soft spot for like this start. And then the part where it goes, I love you, you're the only one, like that sort of Motown sort of feel. I was so into it, right?
Yeah. No,
the chorus hits. And does it go into a minor key or something? Is that what's happening?
It does, but quite cleverly, the pre-chorus going into it does move to the minor, but it doesn't sound weird. It works. I'm not quite sure how they achieved it, but in the pre-chorus, there's like a split second where it leaps, and it
I don't
does
think it works entirely.
Okay.
Because it is still like a big jump. Like when the chorus comes, you're like, what the hell? Like where did that come from? Like we all agree on that, and I wonder if there's a way it could have been done a bit better, or the way to sort of keep it in that major sort of tone, which I was really digging. The chorus is hilarious and just so dramatic and so unusual for them. It's such a strange chorus for them.
It's like watching someone's facial expression change in real time. Like what did you find out? What happened?
But Alexei, you're right.
You find out?
You're right, Alexei, that sort of when it changed to a minor key and then it's saying, but I found out, makes it seem as though something insidious has happened. Reading the lyrics, I think it's meant to be he's found love, and so he's found what love makes the world go round. I think that is what it's trying to do.
But why is it played out in such an intense, kind of sinister way?
Because it goes down to the minor key, right? I think
but what I'm saying is, I know that's the reason. What I'm saying is, if the whole thing is like, oh, love makes the world go round, you'd be like, love makes the world go. Why is it played so like serious and like
I don't know,
angry? Sounds like there should be a showdown. It's like, honestly, the chorus sounds like it's like a gunfight or something like that is going on.
Do you remember with the early Kiss albums? Well, I think Danny, you always used to criticize that they would have like a minor verse, and then it would change to a major key in the chorus, right? Or was it the other way around?
That's true.
But here they've done a reverse, but it just makes again so strange, but in a much better way.
Okay.
This song is great. I'm not sure for all the right reasons. Like it just makes me laugh, and it's just how much of a mess it is. I also love on the bridge, it's Paul singing to Paul, the way they like mix the vocals together, like he's singing to himself. Which just the idea that like Paul is just falling in love with himself and realize that that's what makes the world go round is great. Great one, and also I think it's great paired with the next song as well, which I don't know if you guys want to go into.
You've got me wondering something actually that I might put in my notes there. Tomorrow, this is another Paul. Danny, I'll let you take this one.
Okay. I put I'll take that 80s ass intro riff. I'm on that. I like that. I like that we're getting like that power pop rock thing that we were getting on Paul's solo album. Straight up, I was like, let's go, let's do it. It's like, what was that one I loved on that? Wouldn't You Like to Know Me? I was ready to get that. As it went on, I did start thinking, it's not really going anywhere, and there's some secret sauce that this song is lacking. I think it's not quite like it's no Wouldn't You Like to Know Me, sadly. But I do like that they just entered the 80s as soon as it started, is what this sounds like to me. We're in the 80s and he's there. It's another song that's victim to a guitarist who doesn't know how to solo over major. And also the tapping at the end cannot be ace. Maybe it because again I heard him explain to an interviewer that Van Halen got tapping off him, which is fucking hilarious. I thought surely 80s people ate this up. This is what people were loving at the time. It's that, and it's the sort of thing, like, the last thing I put is, it's what I've been asking for, though. So they are giving me what I want, but it's a very mid attempt, and it's passable. What do you think, Alexei?
I think, well, we sort of start off with this kind of great Blondie riff. It sounds just like Maria by Blondie, which is a great song. A great sort of cheap chick riff. I think this is very well executed pop punk. I think it's urgent and it does have a sort of nervous teen energy to it, which I think makes great pop punk. I think kind of that nervous teen longing for something that you can't possibly get, that kind of tragic thing. It does have that nailed down very, very well. I think the chord progression moves better than it does on Wouldn't You Like to Know Me, because there's a build up and a payoff. Whereas Wouldn't You Like to Know Me, I think, gets to a certain level and stays on that level. And whereas this, it kind of moves incrementally. And we're sort of adding different melodic changes to then kind of like move the track up slightly. I think it's fucking great. I think even the lyrics, I interpret it as coming from a place of like delusion, like this is the imagination of the narrator, sort of like a teenage dirtbag. That's my teenage dirtbag reference. That gives it a sort of tragic quality. I think if I had like big criticism of this, I'd say just more fills, more drum fills. I don't know, they need more drum fills in this. There's so many places that could have had so many kick-ass fills, and they're just not there. I really, 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 really liked this one. I thought it was really, 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 really strong, really, really well written, really urgent, really powerful, had a great sort of nervous energy to it. Also, I really like at the end, I don't know if you guys picked up on this, but at the end it goes, fall in love with me, like that, which I thought was a lovely touch. I really like that. No, I fucking really, really dug that one. Really, really dug it. Alex, what do you think?
Yeah, I agree, man. Like, I didn't write many notes this one, but just if they're gonna write basic ass songs, as which they like to do, just write fun ones like this, man. This is such a great time. This is the way I've been wanting Paul to go, because it just shows off his fun vocal style. Yeah, this is super simple, and you're right, Danny. This is like a lot of stuff at the time. I don't think it was popular, probably because there was a lot of competition in this time. But also, they didn't push this as a single, which is quite shocking to me, compared to what they did push as a single. Yeah, no, I was a big fan of this one. The little keys they add to this is great. The claps, like I'm just a big fan of big like clapping in pop songs like this. So no, I was super into this one.
Do you think
Kiss fans probably hate this?
Wouldn't You Like to Know Me, like Alexei?
No, I Wouldn't You Like to Know Me? That chorus rocks. I'll
Here's a banger,
man.
When I say it's better, it's not much better. Okay. Wouldn't You Like to Know Me is a banger, absolute banger. But I think this is a banger as well.
I couldn't actually give many like real reasons why I prefer Wouldn't You Like to Know Me. I guess it just comes down to melody and arrangement. To me, Wouldn't You Like to Know Me is up there with What Makes the World Go Round as one of the best songs.
I think with this, because you got the tomorrow bit, it becomes more intense as it goes on. Tomorrow, the tomorrow, like it's got a very kind of like triumphant feel, which I don't think necessarily Wouldn't You Like to Know Me has. I think lyrically, Wouldn't You Like to Know Me is very self-aggrandizing. But again, you don't listen for the lyrics. Is that you done, Alex?
Yeah, that's me done, man.
All right, I'll let you lead the next one. Two sides of the coin from Ace. Alex, what's your sense of it?
I mean, two sides of the coin. I had a similar feeling with this one. I couldn't make my mind up for this one. In one hand, we get a kind of glimpse of the Ace solo album on this one, with a bit of his weirder side, especially with the sort of bridge. Not so much. There is an energy to this one that I quite like, but it is quite messy, and the chorus didn't work for me. I'll be interested to hear what you guys thought of the chorus, like him doing that shouty sort of style. Two sides of the coin. I also got flashbacks with this one with his sort of singing style with the, and then I choose my mind. I don't have the time. Like I can't remember the name of that goddamn song. Off was it Dynasty?
Ozone.
Yeah.
So it's like, I'm the kind of guy who likes getting high. That one.
Yes, that one. Though there is that sort of like weirdness that Ace brings that I quite like. I think I preferred "Talk to Me."
Talk to Me is way better.
Yeah,
Talk to Me is way better.
Though I quite liked. I don't know if you guys looked at the lyrics for this one, but sort of like it's what I got from it was like him deciding, like, oh, should he commit to this girl? Like he lives his rock and roll lifestyle, and he could like live that rock and roll life, or he could like settle down with this girl, which I thought was like for Kiss pretty mature and interesting from their perspective. This one I was undecided on. You guys help me out with this one. Alexei, how about you?
I think this is a lot worse than worse than Talk to Me. Not a lot worse, actually. I think it's got a way worse hook. I think the lyrics are a lot less likable. I didn't interpret it as how you described, Alex. I interpret it as like deciding which girl he's going to bang, basically. I didn't really interpret it. But maybe that's just the secondary infection of listening to Kiss. You just assume that's like those the intentions of the lyrics. In fairness to him, he hasn't tended in the past to write lyrics about stuff like that. I think the chorus is just like straight up something that would be on Dress to Kill. The middle eight is actually pretty great. There's some really, really good drumming in there. It's got this really kind of nice, dreamy, twangy guitar part that holds down the rhythm whilst there's some really cool drum fills going over the top. And I think like Dynasty and Ace's solo album, you can tell that him and Anton Fig do have good chemistry. I think they do have good chemistry, and also that Anton Fig gives himself more to Ace's tracks than he does all the other tracks on the album. Like, listen to Like Tomorrow, there's loads of room for some really sick fills in there. But he doesn't really deliver, but on a lot of Ace's songs on this, he's doing a lot more kind of interesting, cool stuff. So you can tell there's a lot more, the way that as musicians they communicate is a lot stronger than it is with the rest of the band. And maybe for the rest of the band, he was just more of a session musician. But it's I don't think this is really great. The middle eight's fucking brilliant though. A lot like, I mean, you're talking about his solo album. His solo album is full of brilliant middle eights. It's full of brilliant middle eights, brilliant breakdowns, brilliant bridges. But and again, I think that goes for this as well. So I mean, it's all right. It's I'm saying mixed review, more it's leaning on the negative, I'd say.
All right, I see how it is. I'm going to stand up to defend Ace because I like this one a lot. If I had to choose, I might even prefer it to what's it called? Talk to Me, yeah. I got straight into the intro. I like the riff. Just overall, I was just thinking Ace is so much better on this album than the last one. His vocals are so much better and his songs are better. I will say he still needs a lyricist. I've been saying that for a while. I put, I write that about every Ace track on this album is the fucking lyrics. Weak bridge, but jumps into a very, I thought high energy, high register, anthemic chorus. I like it's what the first and one of the few times I've liked him doing raspy vocals. I like him doing the sides of the chorus. And like you said, Alexei, the instrumental bit in the middle, I thought it sounded like Tom Petty with distortion. It was like, in fact, in a way, the whole song does, especially maybe it's his accent or something. I put, Jesus, how did anyone believe this bridge was Peter? Surely nobody actually thought when they read the credits that this is Peter Criss.
Yeah, no, sorry, I had that in my notes as well. Actually, I think it might be another song. It might be Torpedo Girl, actually, because I mean, there's some pretty sick drumming in Torpedo. No, there is actually. There's a double kick pattern in Torpedo Girl. When I was just like, at this point, the facade must have been like, there's no one, not even Kiss fans, with the collective IQ of like 75, could possibly believe that is Peter playing. There's no way.
Yeah, and so I just put it's a fun song with weak lyrics, and I really liked it. I like this one. This is way up there for me. This is the high end of Kiss songs for me. And it's hard for me to choose between this and Talk to Me because they're a different vibe. I thought Ace, he's 2 for 2 in a big way here.
Interesting. Yeah, Gene, she's so European. I haven't really got anything to say about this. Gene being boring shit again, disappointing after Naked City. Wasn't he? I just put, wasn't he tired of writing the same shit over and over and over and over again? Really fucking rubbish. Alex.
I mean, I don't think, usually with these songs, I try to give them a chance. And this one, with just what the subject matter was, I don't know, I felt as though like we were being like personally attacked with this one somehow. That just like, I have no idea what he's trying to go with. And the lyrics make no sense. So again, he's talking about this, this girl that he's boning or wants to bone. I don't know. But then, and the way he describes her, he's like, she's got a well-planned look in her eyes, which is something nobody's ever said about a woman. And then
about anyone. No one said that about anyone. It doesn't mean anything. It's nonsense.
But then when the chorus comes along, she's so European, she's one of a kind, all in her mind, whatever. And then he said at the end, I found out today, at the end of the chorus, which is what is, it's as if like
cliffhanger.
It was a cliffhanger at the end of the chorus, and I don't understand whatsoever. Is it she was fooling him that she's European? But that doesn't make sense because the verses like kind of acts as though like, oh, she's just like pretending. No idea. If I'm gonna give any positives, this is another one of those ones where they're doing a very classic Kiss song here. But we could use it to see that the production has improved. Gene's singing has improved. Yeah, that's what I've really got to say about it. Like, this is a really, really stupid song. And they chose this as a single, by the way. It was this and Shandy. Yeah, no, really.
This was a single? I didn't know that.
Oh, well, I looked... Because when I was looking up, like, Shandy being so popular, I looked it up, and yeah, it says Kiss singles chronology, Shandy and She's So European.
That'll be Gene's just popularity, I think. There's so many better singles off there. So many better. Naked City is a way stronger single.
Yeah.
Than this. Also, what does She's So European mean? It's like she's like exotic. It's fucking stupid.
Someone go on. I don't
know. It's the worst track on the album. The title sounded dangerously Gene-like, and I was right. His vocals really suck. I know you guys are being nice about him getting better, and even I wasn't. Naked City. He was getting better there, but we're back to the old shit here. I liked the keys. There's a little keyboard bit I liked. And later on, there's a guitar solo that I just put, surely not Ace. It was so flashy. Maybe it was. If it's Ace, then that's very impressive. I just thought, fuck off with the chorus. It was laughably uncatchy. It's almost tuneless. What was the whole instrumental section? And the last thing I wrote is, I do not think I like Gene Simmons. And that's all I have to say.
You not realise that like 5 albums back? It's not a good musician. Yeah, lame, really bad. Easy as it seems. Danny, what are your thoughts?
Could you sing this for me? Because I've got my notes.
Easy as it seems.
Yes. Thank you. Okay. Thank you, Alex. It's a well-trod chord structure in rock, and it's a good one. And I can fuck with it. I can fuck with this. Very early on, I put, whoa, a fucking keyboard solo. Is it like after the first chorus or something? I was like, hell yeah. I guess that's a thingy. Vince Pontier, whatever he's called. I think it's him. Anyway. And another good guitar solo on top of that. We get a lot of good solos. There's like some congas or something, like some Latin-sounding percussion in the background. Is that what it is?
Yeah, some congas, I think. It's a nice tropical flavour.
Lovely highs at the end. Stuff that we want from them. In the better half of their songs, for sure, I will say, I'm afraid, a bit bored on the second and other listens. But I think that's more, I don't know, maybe it's about the placement on the album. Maybe I haven't figured out why that is. It sounds like you two maybe even like it more than me. There's something about this song that doesn't. It's no two sides of the coin. That's all I'm saying. But it's a good one. I can fuck with it. Alexei?
Yeah, it's great. Yeah, I like this one. It's got a nice melodic bass line in the verse. The congas are a nice addition. Again, a nice tropical flavor. Now, this, when I was talking about like how What Makes the World Go Round sounds like it should be like in Miami Vice or Miami PI. This is definitely should be in like Miami Vice or Miami PI. Sort of chase or shootout music. Like the guitar solo goes off. It's very, very strained. It's very melodic and it's simple. It works really, really well. I'm glad that he played, again, that chord structure you're talking about. I'm glad he played that chord structure out like it was a shootout with a cocaine gang on a tropical island rather than a boring rock song like it might have been on Love Gun. Do you know what I mean? I think that he's played it with a bit more kind of, just with, in general, a bit more gumption. Also, I put it out as well. First keyboard solo on a Kiss record, and I think it's all right. It's pretty good. It's a bit funny in the same way that it's not as funny as What Makes the World Go Round, but it's still pretty. It's still pretty funny, but no, it's good. I dig it a lot. I think it's really good. It's nice. Alex, what do you think?
Yeah, I agree with both of you guys. This like it's a big departure. Like if you compare previous stuff they've done, like you say, like the weird little conga percussion stuff, the bass line, I thought was pretty cool. The keyboard solo, it's all quite different stuff for them. I quite liked it, but kind of like what you're saying, Danny, it's very easy to forget, and it doesn't quite hold with me. It, yeah. Even though when I do listen to it, I'm like, oh yeah, like everyone sounds good here. It's cool solo. Paul sounds good. Like he's really doing his best with it. But something just doesn't click with this song. But yeah, like it's if we take all of Kiss's work into account, it's one of their better songs. Yeah. And again, 100%. Another one which would work better as a single. Yeah.
That still baffles me. Was it? I swear, it wasn't Talk to Me a single as well? Oh no, Tomorrow was a single. No, She's So European wasn't a single.
I've got it with Shandy.
Tomorrow.
I think maybe this might just be in Australia then.
It would be the B-side. She's So European would have been the B-side.
Okay, yeah.
I assume so. I cannot believe that would be a single. That's just so fucking ridiculous. Yeah, it was a B-side. B-side to the single. Anyway, Torpedo Girl, Ace. The rhythm section at the beginning almost sounds a bit like Afrobeat in the intro. The way the guitar riff and the bass interweave is nice and creative. To be honest, I think this sounds like Parklife era Blur. I'm just reading out. My notes is never in. But they're just not singing about the big issue. It's very Ace. Lots of good parts. Comes together in an odd way. But all round, I think it's a success. Again, Anton Fig does blast pretty hard in certain sections. Even he does some double fucking kicks in the outro, which is at that point again. No, the Peter facade is smashed at that point. There's no fucking way. Even though they tried to fool you with the album cover where he has 3 bass drums, he did not play 2 bass drums on this. Good. I put good and underlined it. I liked this one. It was good. Sounds like Parklife era Blur and Afrobeat. Alex, what do you think?
I'm gonna disagree on most of that.
What do you mean? It does.
This is. I'll be honest.
Can't you hear Parklife in this?
The initial groove is okay and it's different, it's interesting. However, this is the closest that Ace has been to the Kiss bin. I swear to God, I do not like this song.
It's not that bad.
No, it's not that bad, but every time I heard this song I just cringe. Something about like what he's singing about, and this might not make sense to you, but it's kind of like a James Bond film as a song, in the sense that, like, you know, like James Bond, he'll go somewhere and then like he'll just be on the beach and there'll just be there's some hot woman there, and he would be like, "Oh, like what's this?" And then like they're suddenly like entwined together. I feel like Ace is trying to.
Song? I don't hear that at all on this. What I hear on this,
lyrically,
that riff at the beginning, down. There's like a billion post-punk bands now.
Not musically. I'm talking.
Imagine this. Oh, lyrically.
Yeah, I'm talking lyrically.
Oh, sorry, I thought you meant musically. Because to me, it sounds like if you took his vocals away and just put some guy going like, "Yeah, I went down in the chippy the other day and I saw shit," like it would just
I know what you're saying.
It would just sound like post-punk.
No, I know what you're saying, but no, I'm talking about with the lyrics where it's just about him going for a swim and him seeing like this girl that he likes, and it's just, I don't know, it's just so like kind of like 60s way of like speaking about like a woman, this sort of like fancy thing. I don't know, there's something about it really put me off, and vocally it doesn't suit him. The lyrics are cringe. And I kept on laughing on when he would go, "Could this be a dream? I don't know." I'm like, it's so stupid. It's so fucking stupid. I do agree. The double pedals at the end are a new thing for them. I don't think it adds to the song. It's not like like it's going rocking hard with the double pedals. It doesn't fit the song whatsoever. This did not click. Danny.
I like the drum intro, and I'll even take the bass. I put "nice one, Gene," but then Alexei said he didn't even play bass on half the track. So anyway, but I agree with Alex a lot here. The first thing I put is, with all these producers on board, could someone not write some lyrics for this rock and roll saint? Could someone please write him some lyrics? I thought, damn it, Ace, you just couldn't be 3 for 3, could you? You've fallen. I loved the last 2 Ace songs. This one completely fell off. His vox are worse. It's weak. These goofballs cannot pull off a cheeky song. And it goes on. Alex talking about the Kiss bin. I mean, I might even agree with that. This is the closest Ace has got. I don't think it is bin worthy, but not much here.
I'd say, in terms of bin worthy Ace songs, there's one off the other Dynasty. I can't remember what it's called. Hard Times.
No. Wait,
which one's Hard Times?
No, Hard Times. Like, the hard times are dead and gone. It was hard. It didn't hurt. That one. Fucking dreadful.
That was bad.
That was bad. Yeah.
But I'm not into Torpedo Girl. It's a shame. It's a shame. I was so happy to be defending Ace throughout this album that he fell off here. But that's it. Let's move on.
All that I want. Alex, do you want to take this one?
No, not really.
Looking at his notes. The way you're looking at your notes, Alexei, you're like turning around like, because I'm the same. I got nothing on this fucking song. Alex, please, tell us something about it.
I barely wrote anything about it.
I didn't write it. Fucking nothing.
Okay. I'll say what I did. Right, this doesn't fit Gene at all. You can hear how uninterested he is, and in fact, most of the band are. It sounds like in this one, it's slow and uninspired. And when Gene said earlier about like, producers like pushing them to do stuff they didn't want to do, sort of thing. This is the one where it feels like they were given a song, or somebody was telling them to write a song a certain way, and they just weren't feeling it. It just isn't them. It doesn't fit, and I can't remember. Like, I can barely remember this one.
Very forgettable.
Danny, you must have written a lot of notes, right?
I really didn't. I put better vocals for Gene's standards. Then I wrote not much to say. Then I wrote just nothing to say. Then I wrote good solo, which I don't remember, but I guess it was alright. Just about any track on this album has a good solo. I think there was one I said didn't. Maybe the first track. This song just completely passed me by every time I listen to it. I've got nothing to say. It's that sort of Mixolydian final track. There's more to come sound that they've done before. It's nothing. Honestly, one of the worst on the album.
Yeah, I think so too. Yeah.
Yeah, it's very nothing. I think it's slightly better for Gene, I guess, but it really just has nothing to latch on to. I'm really glad it did make me think. I'm really glad that Ace picked up the slack on the songwriting on a lot of this album, because again, Gene was only hitting like 1 for free, and at least Ace did 2 for free, in my opinion, and Danny's opinion, just with different songs than Alex's. Outro. The outro is okay, and Paul is doing some kind of interesting stuff in there. He's doing some like real belting in there, but it's really low in the mix. Really, really low in the mix. It's just nothing for me. I don't really like it. In many ways, I guess Danny makes a point where it's like, at least with She's So European, you kind of, at least it does bring out something in you where you're kind of like, oh, this is just fucking stupid. This is weird. But this is really, it really is just nothing. Really forgettable. Anyway, the album as a whole. Good songs. I think this has 6 good songs on it, which is a lot for a Kiss album. 6. For me, it's Naked City, Shandy, Torpedo Girl, Tomorrow, Easy As It Seems, and Talk To Me. Now, I mean, Shandy's in there mostly because I think it's well written and well crafted in that regard. In terms of me liking it, maybe not so much. But I think you've got 2 sides of a coin where I think is okay. Straight Up Bad, I think the first track, which I can't even remember the name of. Is that you? You guess who's there? Or something like that? Is that you? And She's So European and All That I Want. None of them are like terrible, the way that they've sunk to way lower depths on other albums, but still aren't great. This is nowhere near, this album I think is nowhere near as bad as fans make it out, but they also think the Rock and Roll Over is good, so there you go. It's a lot funner than a lot of Kiss records. I think if they're going to commit to, I think if they're not going to commit to, riffs and heaviness, then just go for hooks and polish any day. Of this era, I think this is better than Dynasty. I think the production is more consistent. I think the songwriting as well is of a much better standard than Dynasty. I think its lowest point, it kind of sounds like Dress to Kill. But just with much better production and with slightly better songwriting. I also think that just in general, in terms of quality, I think it's a way more cohesive listen, just in terms of the quality of it. And there aren't any rapey lyrics, or at least not as many rapey lyrics as there were. I couldn't count like many overtly rapey songs on this one, like I have done on previous albums. And I just think their fan base has no taste. I think their fan base has fucking no taste whatsoever. I mean, in terms of album songs, I'll give them that. In terms of their big songs, they have good big songs. But in terms of albums, no taste whatsoever. I'm not to say that this is even that good, but at least it's kind of having a good time. It's just not kind of plodding away the rest of their other albums have done. And in that sense, it's better than Hot Than Hell. It's better than Rock and Roll Ever. It's better than the self-titled. It is better than Love Gun. It is better than... Well, Peters will take out of the equation because we're obviously going to disagree with that. It is better than Dress to Kill. It is better than Dynasty. So to me, it's top 3. But finding that quite hard to make sense of myself. What do you think, Alex?
Well, I'm not sure about you, Danny, but I don't like this album as much as you, Alexei. Like, in terms of songs that I like, I think there's 3.5 maybe, sort of thing. What Makes the World Go Round, Tomorrow, Naked City, and then I kind of like Talk to Me. But that's about it. I hear what you're saying, but other than sort of those two, the sort of like, the really fun What Makes the World Go Round and Tomorrow, I think a lot of these songs are very forgettable, and I think we will forget these very quickly, personally. I don't think it should go as high as what you're saying. Maybe above the Peter solo record, Dressed to Kill sort of range. That's what I'm feeling right now.
It's better than Dressed to Kill. Surely. Oh, wait, you've also got... Oh, no, sorry, you skipped Love Gun. It's better than Dressed to Kill, surely.
Let me have a quick look
just
at
the
production. In production alone is far, far better. Yeah. Let me think on it. Danny, what do you think?
But also on Dressed to Kill, you've got so much chunk 50s rock and roll just guff, and that's just gone on this. Also the rapey lyrics on Dressed to Kill. Also Dressed to Kill has some real low points. Love 'em and Leave 'em off that. No, that's off Rock and Roll Over. That's on Rock and Roll Over. Ladies Room, Room Service. See You in Your Dreams Tonight. Oh, is it? Fuck. Wait. It's the same shit. Yeah, it's the same shit. Hang on, let me pull up Dressed to Kill.
That's Room Service, Ladies in Waiting.
Yeah, Ladies in Waiting. Come on. Ladies in Waiting. Dire. Room Service, bad. Two-timer, bad. Ladies in Waiting, wait. Get Away is so boring. Rock Bottom. Come on, Love Me's good. Come on, it's anything for my baby. Love her all I can. I don't even remember that one.
Okay, right.
She is dire.
What do we think about Below Dynasty then? Above Dressed to Kill, Below Dynasty.
I feel as an album from front to back, I think as an album front to back, it's better than Dynasty. I mean, Dynasty has like, let me pull up the track listing. Like, Dynasty has 2 bangers on it. I'd say this has like a good 3 or 4 like banging songs on it.
Here's what I think. I get that they sound different here in a way that I didn't on Dynasty. I think, and I'll say it again, because I keep saying this, it's not like they were killing it with the hard rock. I love them trying different things, whether I like it or not. I'm happy for them to try that. I honestly think they might be better at writing fucking disco songs than they are at heavy songs. Paul is wonderfully present on this album. Ace is fucking on it, about one song. And the other thing I really want to point out with this album is I love just listening now. The 3 of us seem to generally agree about it, but we're all disagreeing on the specifics. We'd have very different top to bottom songs on this, which I think's interesting. I like that. I don't know. I like this album more than many others we've had. I guess they benefit from producers. I almost feel like the lack of direction that they have cohesively, kind of maybe that works in their favor because there's no like shitty philosophy driving this album other than profit. But all that manifests. Now, that sounds depressing, but that just manifests as we're just trying to write the best songs we can so that people buy the song. It's a very simple supply and demand. I prefer that to we're gonna make the best rock and roll album in the world, because then we get levels of pomposity, like especially on Gene's solo and stuff like that. So, Alex, I'm actually leaning towards Alexei with this discussion you two are having on the ranking. I'm just thinking now. I just think I had a lot of fun with this album, and sorry, can I see the list, Alexei? Alex, you're saying putting it. See, Alex, why is Dynasty better than this? Because Dynasty's got the two Paul Disco ones.
Yeah, the Paul 2 Disco
but other
ones.
Than that, it's mostly shy. Well, not shy, but passable stuff and shy. Charisma by Gene. Yeah.
It goes off a cliff.
Yeah, it does.
I just can't help the feeling with Unmasked that though it's not. There's a lot of forgettable stuff in there. Like this is one where when I would be done listening to it, and I'd think back on the album, I'm like, what did I really get from that? Other than like the few exceptions we said. But I guess you're right that in the sense that those few exceptions are the same amount of exceptions that we had on Dynasty. Okay, I'm willing to accept that. But what do you think? You think number 3 or 2 or what?
Well, I think purely by numbers. I don't know if you agree, but I think at least Danny is. I think this has 6 good songs on it. Just looking at I Was Made for Loving You. The second half, just looking at Dynasty. The second half, Charisma, Magic Touch, Hard Times, Extra Eyes, Save Your Love, aren't good or aren't great. Like there's kind of good elements to them. Like this has like solid 6 or like let's say between us maybe like 5 or 6, good songs on it. Dynasty has what 2, 3 has 3.
This is why it's interesting, because I'm actually disagreeing. I'm agreeing with you overall, but disagreeing on the specifics, Alexei, because I think there's about 3. I think I take good more preciously than you do, Alexei. There's about 3 good songs on this. But I think the lows are so much higher than just about any album we've had.
Yeah.
We're not sinking as deep as we have on other albums, I think. I'm just thinking, I'm thinking out loud now. I think that might be why I'm wanting to put this album high. I don't think we're getting ladies' rooms and stuff. She's So European, for Gene, as dire as it is, he's taken us to these horrible places in the past. So, Alex, are you saying the question is?
Yeah, I'm willing to put it higher. Yeah, well, where do you think then? Like, I'm following your lead. Where do you?
Let's say it goes above. So it goes above Dynasty. So then, basically, what it's up against now is Destroyer.
Destroyer is such a hard one to compare to.
Destroyer is really hard because they're going for completely different vibes. So in terms of like lows you can sync to on an album, Destroyer goes
it's better than Destroyer.
Very, very low. Destroyer has Great Expectations on it, which is shocking, and it also has King of the Nighttime World on it. So Destroyer, you got Detroit Rock City's good, King of the Nighttime World, just kind of nothing. God of Thunder, bad. Great Expectations, bad. Flaming Youth's alright. Sweet Pain, okay. Shout Out Loud, good. Beth, good. Do You Love Me, funny. Rock and Roll Party isn't really a song. I would say all in all, I enjoyed this. I think tomorrow, Naked City, and What Makes the World Go Round is better than pretty much anything off Destroyer. Actually, Detroit Rock City is not as good as Tomorrow, in my opinion. That's not even worth talking about. So that, like, for me, I preferred this to Destroyer, personally.
I think so too.
I'd say it's about on par. Probably maybe overall a bit better, like I say, because there's not as lows.
What about?
All right, above Destroyer. So next we have Paul's.
Oh, God.
So that's hard.
I think Paul's was a similar situation where it didn't have lows at all, and there were some standouts for us. I think we spoke about Paul's in a very similar way.
It had that ballad on it. Hold Me, Touch Me, Think of Me When We're Apart. Okay, so Tonight You Belong to Me, that's good. Move On. Okay. Ain't Quite Right. There's just a lot of okay on Paul's.
Yeah.
There's not like a strong hit rate. It's just a lot of it is okay or fine. Like for me, Love in Chains is good. Tonight You Belong to Me. Wouldn't You Like to Know Me is good. And It's Alright. It's okay. Actually, that's all right, actually. That's not bad. It's just a lot of okay, I think.
It's getting hard for me to rank, and maybe I'm just misremembering, but I feel like I'm not even sure why we put Aces above Poles anymore. I'm sure we felt it was right at the time. I would be happy.
I remember why we put Ace above Poles. Ace is a more overall enjoyable listen. Yeah. No,
I think that with Aces was more impressive. I think more impressive and interesting for me, anyway.
Yeah, it's definitely more interesting listen. Yeah.
This is hard. It's proper splitting hairs at this point.
From the tone of what you're saying, Lex, and stuff, and is that it's sort of, do we put it above Paul solo one, or below it, like second or third? Because it sounds like it's in a similar vein of like some good.
Can you do joints
overall?
Can you do joints? Can you do joints second? No. Oh, it has to. Which is better? Oh, fuck me. I never thought I'd be pondering this question. What's better, Paul Stanley's solo album or Unmasked?
We could just take it to a vote. Should it go above or below? And then just leave it at that.
I'm just thinking about it track by track.
I think it might be their best album.
What?
I'd put it number one. Should we just put it number one? Because Aces is but Aces is impressive, and I think it's a more stimulating album possibly than this. But for songwriting, isn't as good as this. I don't think.
Oh man!
And I think
I'm just not into this album as much as you guys.
I think that I wanted Peters to be number one. You have to consider people's points of views.
Yeah. If you both feel strongly about it, then okay. I'm just.
I think Paul's just has. I think Paul's just has a lot of okay shit on it. Okay shit on it. I feel like this has some like good, nice. It's got some good highs on this. I think it should go number one. I want to put it number one.
Alex, where would you compromise with it?
I'd say 2 or 3. But if you guys both say that it's above,
I think Alex has budged significantly because he was wondering whether to put it 6, and he's climbed. Right?
No. I needed to walk
through or the second best.
I needed to walk through like the older albums. In fairness,
I cannot stress how bad Dress to Kill is. I have no idea what it's really bad Dress to Kill. Like, so you think 2 or 3? What does Ace's solo album have over this?
I just thought Ace was overall like we could listen from I could listen from track 1 to the final track. And it would be somewhat cohesive and an interesting listen. There were definitely songs I didn't like off it, but it felt together. And each song had something where I was like, oh, like he's trying something here, or like that's like a cool, like sort of solo or kind of thing he's trying. And I quite like that in an album to like get that like tone and feeling from it. While with Paul Solo 1 and Unmasked, it is all over the place, and sometimes that means when I'm listening to it that it is just a bit like what is going on and jumping about. Like this album, we're praising it, but it is a mess. Like we talked about, just like
yeah.
Yeah.
So I'd rather have takes off points for me.
Yeah, I'd rather have like a mess, but have a higher quality of songs and have it be messy than like something that is relatively cohesive, like Dress to Kill, where the songwriting is just dire. So for Ace Frehley's, there's Rip It Out, track 1, which I didn't really get. I didn't really like. Speeding Back to My Baby, I didn't like. Snowblind, I think it's good. Oza, a lot of Aces.
Giving him props for trying.
I think with a lot of Aces, we're giving him a lot of props for trying. And there was a lot of things where I did listen to Aces and I came out of it and I was like, I'm kind of glad I listened to that because it did catch me off guard in a lot of places, and I thought it was interesting and a very stimulating listen. However, song-wise, the songwriting I don't think is as good as on Aces. Also, I think with Aces, a lot of it, as opposed to there being bad tracks, there's more bad sections. in tracks.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Whereas there aren't necessarily bad songs. There's like bits where you go, oh, that's sick. And then you're like, oh, I don't really like that bit. True. Oh, no, I do like that bit.
Yeah. All of Ace's tracks on this album are mixed. Looking at his album, like, fucking Wiped Out had some good bits in it, but the chorus was all over the place.
Yeah, exactly. Also, Snowblind, again, had I liked it overall as a track, but I remember you guys didn't like it. I think Danny didn't like it too much, but the jamming bits in it are pretty sweet. And again, I'm in Need of Love has a really sick bit in it, like some really like impressive stuff. Fractured Mirror is great, has some really great stuff as well. Yeah,
talking about Aces, you guys have reminded me why it's got the edge on Pulls, and I'll take that, even though I like me some power pop. Pull, yeah. Aces should be above Pulls, and frankly, I say put Unmasked at the top, and I'll budge one or two, frankly. I think putting it above Pulls would be correct, because the only reason I don't want to actually would be that I prefer fucking Wouldn't You Like to Know Me to Tomorrow.
So Alexei, are you gunning for number one?
Go on, Alexei.
Well, you got to think about it as like an album as a whole, like listening to it from front to back. Actually, I think the track listing on this album does save it quite a bit, because you have really good tracks coming one after another. Does that make sense? They put two kind of, well, because you got a good chunk of like, I'm trying to remember where it comes in, but you've got like Tomorrow comes in straight after. So you've got like Tomorrow comes in after What Makes the World Go Round, and before that, I'm pretty sure you got Naked City. So you got a good run of like Naked City, Tomorrow, and then What Makes the World Go Round. And you got Two Sides to the Coin, which I think so you got like a good chunk of like good songs.
Okay, we need to decide. Alex, will you go for Between Ace and Paul?
Yeah, I think so. But if you guys are both gunning for number one, then we put it at number one.
I think we should put it as number one, because I think it'd be funny. Let's just put it as number one. Okay, Unmasked is the champion. It tops the list. It is the greatest Kiss album of the first 8. There it is, Unmasked. We did it. So next time, guys, I think it's important, because I wasn't going to spend much time on this in the end, but I think we should spend a little bit of time on it. Not too long, though, because we've been here for fucking ages. But Music from the Elder is up next. So excited for this. So, out of curiosity, just going into it now, just obviously, like Alex, I don't know if you're really aware of it, I know Danny is, but this is seen as like one of the probably one of the best examples of in music history of a band like completely losing the plot, like really going off the deep end. It's a concept album. It's a progressive art rock,
I didn't know that.
Rock album. Yeah, it's kind of will consistently come up on quite a lot of lists of worst albums ever made. It's seen as a really, really drastic departure from anything that happened prior. What me personally, I just want to say, what's your expectations going into it? But me personally, I don't think it's going to be like, this whole like, oh, it's either like a masterpiece or it's really, really bad. I think it's going to be one of those like, well, it's not like that big of a departure, really, and props for trying, sort of thing. I think I'll hit it in the middle of the road, because the general consensus is like, either you loved it or you absolutely hated it. I think there's probably some wiggle room in the middle.
It's all I think, again, because its reputation does precede it. I just think it's probably going to be very pretentious. I don't know how good or bad it'll be.
Yeah, it'll definitely be pretentious. Alex, what do you think?
I'm not sure. I'm very excited just because I've seen the cover, which is very different from them. The title itself is like very pretentious, extremely pretentious.
Absolutely.
I'm excited.
I'm excited as well. So what do we sing to sign off on? We should, I think...
What Makes the World Goes Round, right?
On this one. Yeah, it has to be. Are you ready? 1, 2, 3. And then I found out what makes the world go round. I found out, really found out what makes the world go round.